I'm feeling it today. I'm feeling my power. I'm feeling confidence. Feeling the potency of the equinox and the eclipse. The new moon, the newness, the immediacy, the potency. I think this is the energy that I thrive in. And there's a demand for responsiveness, for action, for impulsiveness even. This is what makes me a warrior, I believe. This is where I tap in to my Aries warrior energy. Feels like A-team MacGyver type of energy. Where there's a kind of chaotic shitstorm going on. And I feel the contrast, the clarity as a kind of juxtaposition, as a kind of response to the chaos. I feel almost like I can draw energy from that storm. It's the opposite of avoidance. It's an emboldening because the moment demands it. This is me truly coming to know myself. This is me being clear about what was missing for much of my life, especially the early part, where it was all about safety, caution, unspoken rules and politeness that made no sense, a contrived reality. An authoritarian feminism. No, this is where my masculinity my willingness to take risks, my confidence in my strength, my disregard for ridiculous, superficial comfort zones is done away with. It's about having dirt under your nails. It's about getting uncomfortable. It's about getting shit done. about energy and momentum and aliveness. Feeling the elements, the ruggedness of life. It's even about feeling the pain and not being stopped by it. Having it be an affirmation of embodiment. Something to push against. Something to overcome. This is what I've been hungry for. Something real, something tangible. Something that speaks to the visceral senses. This is what I intuit and anticipate is the environment that we're moving into that demands this quickening, that demands this presence of responsiveness. It's a kind of ruthlessness. It's not an unintelligent animal brutality, if that's even such a thing, because actually I think this is a kind of animal instinct where there's not a shying away from what needs to be done. In fact, I think it's a tapping into that kind of wild energy. I think this is what is absolutely necessary going forth, because this Aquarian age and energy is about civilization. Yet it's an opportunity to expand on our definition of what civilization previously was. We need to balance this sophistication with our roots, our animalness, our connection with nature. And in that wildness, there is an absolute immediacy. There's a presence that connects us to life itself, that gives us this embodied aliveness that we see in animals, that we see in nature. Too often humans are disassociated and way up in their head, very cerebral, disconnected from their bodies, disconnected from the present world around them. It's this complex interweaving. It's not a simple thing to be human and healthy and aware. and especially difficult when one is surrounded by dysfunctional, diseased, others. I do not wish to separate myself from humanity. I always want to reflect on my connection with nature, which includes humans. And I want the humility to be able to be honest about my own shortcomings in those areas that I can improve upon. There's been times in my life when I've been very unwell, very weak, stuck in a victim mentality. But there's always a discord in me in my observation of that. I had a sense that I could be better. That there's this underlying blueprint of health and well-being, this frequency of alignment. And so that awareness has driven me to want to be better, to want my persona, my superficial identity, my body, my actions, to reflect that underlying intelligence, that underlying harmony and design. And slowly, that's been happening. With many ups and downs. A lot of periods of feeling like it was futile. To be honest, it still is like grains of sand slipping through one's fingers. What is it exactly that I'm wanting to achieve? It feels almost indescribable. I think part of what I'm trying to do here is describe it, is make myself sit in this place of vulnerability and openness and reflection, a kind of channeling of these various aspects of myself. And in recording them, I can revisit and look at myself from a different perspective, at a different time. Now my intention is just opening, revealing, channeling what is, with a de-emphasizing of the intellect and analysis. And then later I can look at it in a more analytical way. I think it's also a kind of therapy, just like all of us can benefit from feeling witnessed, listened to, an opportunity to express ourselves. This could almost be like a diary or a journal. But there's also the feeling, the awareness, the possibility that somebody else will witness it and see it and maybe even benefit from it. Even if that never happens, even if these words are never heard by anybody else, in my awareness, my feeling, my intention, my mental framework, there is the feeling of that. And so there's a feeling of recognition. And I also look at it like, even if it's just myself, that's still somebody. It's an honoring of that relationship that I have with myself. And there's the bravery, the courage to put it out into the world, which also seems a little crazy considering the world that we live in, of predatory, hostile, big tech that is very much not trustworthy with anything. However, I do believe that I cannot be made a victim by anyone other than myself. And I know that everything of this world will pass away. My soul net cannot be harmed by Google. I stand in defiance of that. I will not be silenced. I will not be made to feel afraid of what really has no power over me. I give everything in my life the power that it has. And I'm not afraid of consequences. I trust my own ability to face whatever comes. Again, this is my sense of being a warrior, of taking up that mantle, as they say, stepping into that power, tapping into that confidence, of fighting whatever battle is in front of me, and not just for myself. I know that when I do it, it's for more than just myself. It may be a small thing, but it has a ripple effect. This moment feels poignant, and I feel powerful. Despite conditions, those conditions ultimately cannot take my power from me. There are also some conditions that I appreciate, and some of them are challenging. I feel excitement about some of them that are challenging. I feel like I'm willing to risk it all to have this authenticity, this connection with my soul, this fearlessness that is a willingness to be afraid but not stopped by it, to be sad but not stopped by it, to be passionate but not stopped by it. To risk feeling all the feelings. Because death is more likely to come from a resistance to feeling than to feeling itself. I choose pain over numbness. I choose hurt over dissociation. And I have faith that life isn't destined to be painful or meant to be painful, but that is a component of life. Perhaps it is destined that we face pain, that we move through pain. As I've mentioned before, these Plutonic and Saturnian forces and conditions. And I think also the Martian energy, that drive, that impulse, can increase one's suffering as well. And if you shy away from suffering, you also shy away from achievement. You shy away from life itself. Living requires growth and change, and both of those can be painful. And we're resisting them. They can be painful, but I think pain can also just be something that helps us transcend previous limitations. It can be that kick in the butt that we need to move, to take action. I don't think parents do their children a service. They do them a disservice by shielding them from discomfort. I think that if I were to ever have children, which is highly unlikely now, I probably would encourage, incentivize challenging, difficult experiences. I certainly wouldn't be providing life on a silver platter for them. I'd be facilitating learning experiences, challenging, encouraging. And not emotional manipulation, psychological manipulation, guilt tripping, any of those toxic things. Which really sabotage an individual's ability to face hardship. I would be encouraging confidence and testing of that. I feel like I've learned things really the very hardest way. And in the end, there will be some benefit from that. I have decided that is my determination to turn it into something positive. I don't think it needed to be so difficult, but then what do I know? Probably in the grand design it did. I think because I want to understand things at a deep level, it needed to be this complex and messed up, where I had to pull myself out of hell. And the difficulty of unraveling and unpacking, the feeling that it was the people that supposedly loved you that caused that confusion and that dysfunction, that pain and suffering. That's a very difficult knot to undo. And I've been working on it for a while. Probably will take me the rest of my life to really sort it out. I want to feel forgiveness. I'm not quite there yet. But when it comes to me, what I have made of my life, I feel hope. I feel hope that given a bit more time, I can do something meaningful with it. And maybe even in just this moment of recognition, there is a sense of satisfaction. If my life ended tomorrow, that I would feel that I at least achieved a kind of awareness that I'd been aspiring to. I think I've achieved something in the past 7 weeks about doing these videos. I believe there is a self-awareness and a confidence that has occurred as a result of. And I've seen the effect in my life. I have less despair about the state of the world and my health. Those two things weigh on me a lot. And now I feel like I can face them as they are. As I say, I feel the confidence to be responsive in the moment. With my health, it's about making the right choices on a daily basis. Not the easy, indulgent, escapist path that feels good in the moment. That's a dopamine kind of coddling of myself, of just give myself this pleasure instead a willingness to accept the discomfort and instead use presence and focus to push through those times when normally I would just take the dopamine route. Essentially, instead of getting high, I do the dishes, or meditate, or go for a run. Do these things that I know feel some resistance to, but there's a demand of rallying some deeper forces. It's not escaping, it's an arriving. It's a call to presence. It's rallying the troops to face what is. And as far as the world goes, the insanity, the rage and frustration that I feel when occasionally I tap back into social media and see the abhorrent idiocy from supposed people, supposed intelligent people making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in their cushy jobs for being utter narcissists. The slap in the face that all of that is. And instead of getting too drawn into that, you use that energy to create, to write, to do artwork, or to focus on something tangible in my life that I want to change. To take those little incremental steps to make change in my life. I can't change the government of Canada. But I can do things in my life that help me to feel better about my life and my resilience. That's where the power is. The power is right here with this breath. This embodied state in this present moment. Not getting drawn into some drama and story of people thousands of miles away. And the hate that I have for them. Because tapping into that energy and just have it flow through my body is very toxic. If I could punch one of them in the face, that would be good. That would be an outlet. But I don't want to go to the effort of getting on an airplane and doing that and then ending up in jail. They're not worth it. They're utter losers. So I'm going to spend my energy where the value is, the realness is. I'm going to withdraw all that energy from those losers and invest it here, where the action is, where the party is. I know all the power is here. I have all the power as far as my life goes. My creativity, my ingenuity, my passion, my excitement, my strength. I need to be vigilant in not giving it away to anybody else. And then I actually have something to give when I truly want to give energy to someone else. I can build and I can create and I can uplift and I can care for and I can heal with a lot more power and creativity. And clear intention. And that's what I want for myself. want every day to be clearer and clearer about this, and more capable and confident in this self-awareness, this self-ownership. Where I'm able to show up fully with all of the various aspects and attributes, this full spectrum that I feel I am in this moment. Maybe tomorrow will be different. But all I can truly be is what I am right now. And that's a bunch of things. As humans are. In this moment, I'm powerful. This moment, I'm alive. This moment, I'm capable of facing this moment. And I don't need to measure up to anybody else's standards, only my own. I can love myself. Whatever myself is, from the depths of my soul to the temporary characterization that I'm playing in the world. I accept that. I accept that flawed attempt at representing the full spectrum of who I experience as myself. That's my aspiration. It's my practice.